Hello, and welcome to the Daily View. Well, it's Monday. There's no better day to talk about the moon than Monday. It's day. The moon has an enormous impact in our lives. We actually have a very unusual configuration in the astronomy of it. That is that the only other planet that has a singular moon is Pluto, and it's not even certain in that context whether Pluto is a legitimate planet. The other thing is the proportional relationship. That is the relationship of the size of the moon to the size of the Earth, that the moon is really enormous in that sense, in proportion. Even when you go to the largest moon in the solar system, Titan, when you compare it to the size of Saturn, it is a much smaller proportion than the relationship between the Earth and the moon. So we have this singular moon, and it's very large in relationship to our planet, and has an enormous impact on the planet. If it were not for the presence of the moon, if this were indeed an evolved water planet, there would be no Earth. There would be nothing pulled up. There would be no life in the sense as we know it. Just the idea of standing erect, the way in which human beings move around on this planet is all courtesy of the moon and its gravitational impact on the Earth. We know that the seas rise and fall relative to the moon, and yet we seem to end it at the seashore, and we don't realize, or we don't know, that in fact everything is rising and falling. The blood in your body, the liquid in your cells, the very land that you stand on is pulled by the moon. So the moon has an enormous effect in our life. Within the context of human design, within the context of analysis, we speak of the moon as a drive. It is an engine that is powerfully at work, trying to dominate where we go. This reflected light of the moon. And the moon is always there and always willing to carry out the message of the sun. It is there to embody that message, but to embody it not so much as input, but as direction, as force, as drive. And so this moon that we have, when you look at your personality moon, when you look at your design moon, how deeply significant it is. In fact, the moon is so significant that really 3 of the aspects of calculation are lunar related. That is, the nodes of the moon. The tradition of the Brahmins was that incarnation, in fact, was something that was a result of the moon. So when we're looking at the moon individually in our lives, you also have to see that this is also the reflected light that others see in you. It is your inner nature, in a sense, brought to the surface, and placed on display. The moon, the eldest daughter. We would have a very, very difficult time without her. She is really the protectress of us all. For me, the lunar goddesses were always the ones that in essence really were directly involved with our lives down here on the mundane plane, guiding us into the material acceptance of life, moving us, driving us through this material life. And in many ways, it's more like a tug, like the tug of the moon. It's there, and it's pulling all of us. And it's important for you to see where your moon is pulling you to stand up and be on display.